I am speaking with.
Rich Carpenter with GE Intelligent Platforms.
You give an awesome presentation about big data, and when I think about big data, if I were thinking about GE, I would think you guys have a lot, but you said a lot of people don't realize that. And what is it that you guys are collecting? I mean, there's a lot out there. Try to sum it up for me.
Well, I think what people don't know is how much equipment that we have that affects their day-to-day life. We have the turbines that are creating power for their homes. We run the jet engines that are sitting on the planes that they use to travel from place to place. And we have a large oil and gas company that brings the oil to the refineries where it is then processed for gas for your cars. So we're very heavily involved in equipment that's used in everybody's day-to-day life. That equipment, we're responsible for keeping it managed and running properly with many of our customers. That requires a lot of data to be collected and a lot of sophisticated algorithms to watch that equipment to make sure that we keep it running on a regular basis.
One of the points you made in your presentation was, don't look at big data as, oh, I want to improve my processes, which is essentially the end game. That you have to be looking at many issues before that because you'll never get there. Can you walk me through? There's like 5 or 6 steps that you have to actually be worrying about before you get there.
Yeah, I think in the areas where your data is highly distributed, your first problem is connectivity. You've got to get the data from its source to a location. And the second thing you have to do is manage that data, because the infrastructure to manage a large data set is different than just a standard PC. You really need to have that sharded across multiple computers, and you really need to have a high performance database strategy in order to manage that data. Once you've got the data organized, now you've got to have a set of analytics that look at the data and pull the insights out of it so that you can drive a set of insights that then drive a decision support to help people know what to do when that data occurs. And so businesses have to go through this evolution from sort of reacting to problems when they occur to, secondly, sort of preventing those problems before they occur. Then you get to what I would call stable operations. Once you're at stable operations, now you can start to think about optimizing processes and getting really incremental efficiencies out of your business.
Very last question. You talked mostly about like being preventative, about having problems, catching them, something hours, months even beforehand. But one of the things I've always heard about big data is it reveals opportunities or things you never would have seen before. Have you had that experience with analyzing your data, and can you give me an example?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you bring up a great point. We see data as always having a future value. So in other words, at any point in time, you haven't extracted all of the insights out of that data. So you're going to continually learn over time. When we look at the operation of some of our equipment, we sometimes find unrelated process variables. Something that occurs 2 or 3 steps before it reaches our equipment in the production process may actually be the cause of a malfunction in a piece of our equipment. And so we use the data to expand our view of what comes into and what comes out of our system, and looking across that system, not just the individual piece of equipment, we can actually improve our ability to keep that equipment operating in top form.
Rich, that's excellent. Hey, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet. No problem.